there's a lot of people screaming outside. So hopefully I can get through this without them getting in the way of that. Okay. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Geek Muscle. I am your host, Drew, and today's video is going to be a very special one. Before we begin, I am wearing my El Paso Strong shirt for the occasion of this video. So if you haven't read the title, yes, today is August the 3rd, 2020, and today marks 1 year that we experienced a horrific shooting here in El Paso, Texas. So just to recap, pretty much it started off as a normal morning at a local Walmart. People were shopping, doing their groceries, and it was almost right in the beginning of the school year, so there was a bunch of young people buying their school supplies. And I believe there was also some sort of charity going on outside as well. And pretty much this guy, I'm not even going to say his name, he's just a pile of garbage, so it's not worth it. He came in and he shot it up. He killed 23 people and injured another 23, with the youngest being 16. His reasonings: anti-immigration, white supremacy, far-right extremism. So he wanted to target Latinos. El Paso, Texas is known for being a border city, hence we're right next to Mexico. So our demographic is very strong we have a strong Latino community here. So he wanted to target this specific place. For that reason, he knew that there was going to be a lot of us here. This basically caused an uproar, fighting against racism, many activists rising up to stand against the tide, and many believed, myself included, that Donald Trump's early comments on immigrants were the seeds planted for extremists to do these horrific acts against minorities. Even in my initial video that I made a year ago, I sounded pretty angrily. I guess it was my initial response because it was the day of, so I was pretty upset, as many of us were, and pretty angrily too. And I said this:
the increase in hate crimes against minorities, whether it's Muslims, Latinos, African Americans, these hate crimes have increased ever since a specific individual decided to take office of President of the United States. And honestly, it boggles my mind that there's still a lot of people that are in denial that the current administration is partially responsible for these heinous acts against minorities, against Latinos, against Muslims, African Americans. But very, very deep down, you're in favor of this. You're the cause of this. This is what it is. It's terrorism. It's white terrorism. Okay? You cannot justify the fact that, oh, this guy had mental issues and he needs to be taken care of. No, bullshit. That's terrorism. I'm pretty sure if this guy, this piece of shit that did this shooting, I'm pretty sure if he was a minority, if he was black, or if he was a Latino or a Muslim, he would have already been taken to the death penalty or straight to prison. And this would have been like just another way for Donald Trump or his supporters to use it as a way against us and to promote their ideals, to build their stupid wall or ban Muslims or whatever.
So now a year later, if you were to ask me, Drew, do you still feel the same way, or were you just speaking out of spite and anger, but by now you've managed to cool down and you've found a new perspective in things? So how do you feel? Do you still have that same opinion? Yes. Yes, I do. I do not take back absolutely anything that I said in that video, by any means. With that said, I'll say it again. Donald Trump and his extremist supporters are indirectly responsible for these tragic things to occur. If anything, since then, following the tragedy, they've only proven my point even more, with everything else that has happened nationwide. By how they consider the Black Lives Matter movement a terrorist group, or by how they consider the protesters that are fighting for justice and equality, they consider them thugs and criminals. And I'm not even talking about the people that did riots and did all the looting and destroyed public property. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people, the actual protesters that were there for that specific reason. You really can't blend both. They're not the same. Just how in their argument and their defense that you cannot blend the bad cops with the good cops, it applies the same with protesters. You can't blend the real protesters that are fighting for justice and equality and put them together with the rioters that are just using it as an excuse to cause problems. It's not the same at all. It honestly astounds me that there is still so many Latinos, let alone Latinos here in El Paso, Texas, that even after what happened, they still support Donald Trump, and they're still, justifying anything and everything that he says and does. I really do not understand how that works. Oh, but now with the whole pedophilia stuff coming out and all these celebrities and big names getting exposed, people are going to use the argument and say, oh, well, if you're not supporting Donald Trump, you're supporting an alleged pedophile. Newsflash, they're both creepy as boomers, and they're both alleged pedos. So it has absolutely nothing to do with it. That pedophilia argument is irrelevant. You can't use that against somebody that's against Donald Trump. You really can't. You could dislike Donald Trump, and you can dislike the other guy as well. You really can't be closed-minded that way that, oh, if it's one guy, it's the other. You could just dislike both. And if you're truly so high and mighty, an activist fighting against pedophilia, then you would be against all pedophiles, not against just one side of the political spectrum that you oppose. Otherwise, that makes you a total hypocrite. But I'm going way off topic here. This one's supposed to be a small rant or anything. This video is meant to just reflect on what happened here. As someone that lives here, that lived literally a street behind everything that happened. So let's just forget about all that political stuff. Let's just not talk about it. So pretty much the day started off like a normal Saturday morning. So I was being pretty lazy. It was around, it was pretty mid-morning-ish. Usually Saturdays I wake up pretty late. So I remember that in the street that I live in, or that I used to live at, there's a lot of traffic because it's a really busy street as it is, and also because we live right behind the mall and the Walmart where it all took place. So yeah, I was just halfway asleep, not really, I was just laying down, on the verge of falling asleep again, and my mother was calling me like, hey Andres, come here, and I was just like, whatever, so I was just ignoring her, but then I started noticing, I was hearing a lot of sirens passing by back and forth, and usually I would hear the sirens because it is a busy street, but this time it was way too much. It was like getting overly loud. And then again, I hear my mom one more time. She's like, Andres, come here. Something's happening. And I was like, uh-oh, yeah. Something's up because she doesn't normally say this. So I went into her room and pretty much she told me that she keeps hearing helicopters and we could see from the window that people were like passing by, crossing they were jumping the brick wall that separates the apartment complex to the mall. We saw people like leaving like in hordes, like just back, like they were leaving the mall. And I was like, that's weird, until we actually saw the breaking news, the local breaking news, that a shooting was taking place. This was before they apprehended the shooter. And we were like, oh my God, like that's literally not even a mile away. Literally, that's walking distance from here. So we were right behind it. We were right behind like our apartment complex was like right here, like that. And then the mall was like literally behind it. And then the Walmart was right here. So yeah, we were hearing literally everything from the sirens, and we would see people leaving, evacuating on the phones. I remember seeing a lady running, crying on her phone. And I remember in our apartment complex too, like they had like the exit, basically the exit from where you can get up from my apartment complex. It's connected to one of the entrances to the mall. That was sealed, so we couldn't go anywhere. So we were telling my brother what was happening, and he just told us, you know what, I mean, the obvious, just stay inside because you really never know what's going on, or if this guy tries to break into any nearby houses. So that's what we did. We were inside, and I could hear the helicopters. It was getting incredibly low to the point that the windows were vibrating. That's how close the helicopters were in the area. And just, the numbers are just rising. It started off with 3, 6, 10, like that. The numbers kept on piling, and it wasn't until we actually saw the breaking news on CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, like all the main media outlets were reporting this, and that's how we knew this shit. Yeah, here we go again. Another shooting here in the States, and it so happened to be right behind where we live. So, oh my goodness, we were all in shock. We really couldn't believe what was happening. We never thought that would happen here in El Paso. I mean, then again, any city that experiences a national tragedy never thinks that that would happen to them, but you really never know. And we were just thinking, and oh my goodness, I remember seeing the videos that were getting leaked on Facebook of the people inside, inside tables, running. And the worst one was like, I think it was a lady that got shot outside. That was like the worst. Like, we just couldn't see those, and it was just getting too bad. Like, I didn't want to show my mom any of these videos because it would be too much for her. And I remember I was getting messages from my coworkers that if anybody's okay, and we were like, yeah, everything's fine, nobody's at Walmart. And I'm like, okay, just be safe. And my friends that knew that I live right behind all of that, they were texting me asking me if I was okay, and I was like, yeah, don't worry, everything's fine. But it just happened so quick. It was just in a morning like that, everything changed. It's gonna sound crazy, but it honestly felt like we experienced like 9/11 all over again. I mean, that shock. I mean, then that shock, and just you can't comprehend why would somebody do this. It was just too much until everything got cleared. Like almost by like around 2 p.m. everything was already cleared. The guy got arrested, and everything was shut down. Literally the entire city shut down, from restaurants, bars, especially Saturday. Usually Saturday nights, that's when the bars and the clubs start promoting, the weekend and everything. Everything shut down that day. Nothing was open. And what shocks me was afterwards, once everything cleared, I decided to go to the gym. Mind you, in the street, that busy street where we exit, there's also, Anytime Fitness, the gym I go to, and I just needed to clear my head. I was just so stressed out. I was angry. I was upset. I didn't know what to think, especially when it was coming out about who did this. We were just getting more angrier, knowing, the reasons behind what he did. And I remember I just went to the gym, but it just felt so different. Literally, that street, the street I'm telling you, it's an incredibly busy street, and if those people that live here would know, it's Viscount. That shit gets packed, especially the rush hour or during the weekends. But this time it was just a ghost town, and that's what really, left me at a haze. I was at the gym, I was doing my cardio, looking towards the window, and literally no cars in sight. Absolutely nobody was there. It felt like a Twilight Zone version of the city. It was just completely, the whole thing stopped. Everything was gray. And literally it got cloudy. It was pretty sunny throughout the morning, and then once everything stopped, it was a pretty overcast day. So it felt really strange, going in. I mean, I went to the gym with a couple of people too. I'm pretty sure they were trying to just blow off steam, but I just couldn't focus, just thinking of everything, of what's gonna happen next. Is there anything else that could happen? And it's the shocker aspect of things that just you really can't get out of your head. Like, how could somebody do this? How did a normal Saturday morning, so colorful, full of people and kids getting their supplies, all that just stopped? And from one moment to the next, people just lost their lives. That's the kicker to it. And I guess that's why I use 9/11 as an example. It makes you just question, how can humans do this, you know? And while I was there, that's everything that I was thinking at the gym. So I don't even know what I did that day. I was just so focused on everything else that I just didn't even. I think I was just doing cardio in a couple of machines, and I went home. But just the drive, going there and back, seeing no cars in sight, literally no cars at all, nothing. It was literally a complete ghost town. It seemed like everybody left the city, and I've never seen anything like that before in my life. And it's heartbreaking. I went home, and I was just there with my mom, comforting her, and just thanked God that my family's safe, my friends, and just prayed for everybody that got affected by it, the people that were suffering. And that's when I made the video. And to just top it off on that horrible day, another shooting happened in Dayton, Ohio. So it just couldn't get any worse. We were feeling horrible as it was for what happened. And then knowing another shooting happened the same day, more people getting killed, it just was not a good weekend at all. And just thinking back, it was just such a day of numbness. And for me, it was shock. For me and a lot of us that didn't really have people involved, it was shock, anger, and pretty much numbness. But I didn't experience like a full breakdown until I actually went to the memorial. A couple of days later, not at the actual Walmart, but at the entrance, they sealed it off, and they were leaving flowers and a lot of special things, you know, in remembrance to the people that were lost. I remember going and just seeing the city be so united, and just the music and the vigils they were having, the people that were there, just everything there, just imagining everything there, seeing the faces and cardboards of the people lost, the kids, the youngest one that was lost. That's when I genuinely broke down in tears. And I didn't think I would. It just, without even controlling involuntarily, I broke down. And it was the worst. Honestly, I needed to. And that's why now it's just reflecting, looking back. Hopefully this never happens again. Hopefully none of you ever experience something like this. And I know that's very hard to avoid, especially in this world that we live in. So again, my thoughts and my prayers go out for all of the families that were affected that day. And they also go for everybody in the city, regardless political views. At the end of the day, we're all Pasoans, and we have to stay united. We have to stay strong, especially for the ones that lost their lives there and lost family members. To the people that lost someone that day, just remember that your loved ones are still watching over you, and one day you'll be able to see them again. And I always I have a strong faith in God, and I like to believe that when we lose someone, we're gonna see them again. So I know you guys will. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you're having a wonderful, safe day, and I'll catch you guys down in the next one. See ya.